Welcome back to another pre-snap podcast where you come and your dreams die. Do you remember when I said last week that it was the most excited I've been for being a Chiefs fan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's gone completely out the window in my 1 week.
How did that end up?
That's one of those things only someone who follows a good team can say after a few losses. Like, no, I like this. It kind of gets us in a good place. It's like, no, you will get fucking sick of losing.
Yeah, look, it was that was probably the worst. I think when did I start? I started watching them in 2016 was when I started watching the Chiefs, and that was by far the worst game I've seen. By far.
Yeah.
By far. I can't even think of a game that was that bad.
So Alex Smith,
Super Bowl
right?
was
You started watching Alex Smith was still
trade. But more so when DeAnthony Thomas was drafted.
Yep.
Out of Oregon.
Yep.
The black mamba.
Yeah, so it was the Alex Smith period.
Yeah.
You won't have memories of Trent Green.
We had the dink and duck.
Yeah.
Like he would,
Yep.
Alex Smith would just like throw it 5 yards and we'd just be content with having the slowest touchdown, getting up and down the field ever.
A drive would go for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't overly exciting. And then obviously someone like Patrick Mahomes comes in who we hadn't had in ages. And then next thing you know, he's throwing 60-yard bombs and we're just like, holy shit. And that's what I think we're lacking as well now because I haven't seen that recently.
Yeah.
In fact, I haven't seen it much this season.
Well, we're diving straight into it. Let's cover this game.
Straight into it. I thought we were gonna lube you up a little bit.
I'm ready.
He's ready to go. He's been stewing on it.
He's
been
like,
stewing.
Daddy, please, some more.
What I want to say first, though, is that what's the record? 3-4?
No, we've only won 2, I think. Is it we're 2-4.
Who'd you beat? You beat Eagles?
No, we're 2-4.
You beat Eagles and you beat some other trash
Washington.
team.
Yeah.
You beat Washington.
Okay. So
Oh no, we won our first game against the Browns. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think
we're 3-4.
3-4, which in a 17-game season is not that bad.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there is still time to get it right. Based on what they did last week, there might not be enough time in the history of the universe to get that right because that was fucking shocking.
Yeah, it was really bad.
But you have the rest of this. It's a 17-game season. We're still quite early in. We haven't hit the halfway point yet. There's still time to get it right. I think you're right. That's probably the worst Chiefs game we've seen in 8 years or something.
It was since
bad.
the Super Bowl. But Super Bowl, you had excuses though. Like you had half an O-line.
But the difference in the Super Bowl is that Mahomes was playing elite and everything around him was falling down. Now it's everything around him plus him is just collapsing.
But they showed ticker in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Tampa Bay were just better. At the end of the day, they were a better team. They played better. But at least we showed ticker. I'm not seeing that much ticker, but that gets to my next point. Only thing that's like a saving grace is Nick Bolton, which I've got here. He's number 1 in the NFL for tackle for loss, number 6 in the NFL for solo tackles, number 12 in the NFL for total tackles. He leads both the Chiefs and all other rookies in each category as well for the entire league. And
is he a first-round pick?
He literally looks like he's doing everything himself. Like when he's running around the pitch on defense, it looks like he's doing everything himself.
Well, he has to because no one else is doing anything.
Yeah, it's so man. Oh,
well, here, let me crunch some numbers for you, mate. Can I just give me the second to read out the defensive stats that you guys are not 31st or 32nd in?
Mm-hmm.
Next topic.
So all of them. Exactly. Worst in the league.
Literally, let me go on. If we're going to go deep on this, you're worst in turnovers created, worst in points allowed, worst in yards allowed, worst in yards per play allowed. In fact, your defense is currently looking like it's playing the 2016 Patriots every week.
Every week.
How many yards they've got. 31st in pass yards allowed, 31st in receiving yards allowed, which kind of go hand in hand, 31st in rush yards allowed, and last in first downs allowed. There isn't a whole lot for you guys to be celebrating defensively.
First in Jackson Mahomes TikTok followers though, which is big. That's the important part.
Yeah, and first in left-handed throws and no look
passes that are just going to where a no look pass normally goes now, which is in the dirt.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know how to fix it. I mean, is it time for a clear out? Is it new coaches?
No, you can't. The ship isn't sinking.
No,
yet.
but dude, is it?
This is what happens happens when you're sitting in the VIP lounge for too many drinks.
It feels like the sky is falling. I've had 7 years of this.
Oh,
and
you've had Super Bowls to enjoy in between this.
Okay,
None of you.
if we lose to the Giants this week,
then maybe
there's a little bit of panic going on.
I'm like that flickering candle right now. That's like on its last bit of wax, and it's like I think if we lose to the Giants, it's like. Oh man,
Savvy,
it's getting bad.
I understand. I feel you. But can I just say, you entitled motherfucker. You're coming off back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. No heartbreak in the goddamn AFC Championship for you had one 3 years ago. Fair play. But
it wasn't long ago where we could barely win a playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
We were known as the
playoffs. That was
choke
nice.
of the NFL. So, but yeah.
Anyway. There's plenty of time to get right, I think, is...
There's nothing that an off-season can't fix for you guys.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest things. You can't panic. You've still got, your team's mentally checked out for a bit when you've been on a run as long as you can. And I hate to jump on the echo chamber, but like it's Pat Mahomes regressing to the means for the amazing stuff he's gotten away with over the last 3 seasons.
Which there's this infamous post on Reddit, on the NFL subreddit,
Here we
about Patrick Mahomes. If you pull his stats... So if you take away the outliers, right, it's terrible. It's like the worst example of how not to look at data or how not to look at analytics. Basically just cherry picking data and say, if we just pull his stats down to league average, then he's somewhere around a Dak Prescott or even, at that time, Dak Prescott wasn't as good as he was now. But basically what you're saying, right, that Pat Mahomes, this isn't sustainable. He's going to regress to the mean. And it's dumb. It's not, the data doesn't show that the way they presented the data, except that it's kind of happening, right?
It's annoying. It's like
they're kind of right. It's
you're
like
right, but not.
It's like it's like when you're doing a math question and your working is all wrong, but you somehow got the right answer.
100%.
But I don't think it's all on. It's easy to say, it's Pat Mahomes, but everything around him is falling apart. And I want to say that the first episode I was on, and prior to this season even starting, I did call the fact that you can't go into a new season and just throw money at offensive linemen who are on the street and do big trades and expect them to work together.
We have the second highest paid defensive player in the league with Frank Clark. And he hasn't got one sack, I don't think. Has he got a sack yet?
I don't believe. Maybe half.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
Frank Clark's not doing anything.
But here's the crazy thing. You guys aren't even yet feeling the effects of that $500 million contract.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys are still benefiting off the final year of Mahomes' rookie deal or whatever. That hasn't kicked in yet.
And it won't kick in based on how it's structured till about 2023. So you've got a little bit of time.
But if you're struggling now.
Yeah, exactly. If you start having to shed contracts.
I think the talent's there. Don't get me wrong, the talent's there. It just looks like they're just off the pace a bit.
It's similar to, you remember Aaron Rodgers it might have been like 3 years ago, kind of when the Packers were on a bit of a downswing. People were calling for McCarthy's head. But it's one of those things where, it feels like he's forcing everything. Right?
Oh, yeah,
playing
sure.
hero ball. He's avoiding the easy completion. Like if you take one player as a microcosm, he's got the running back open in the flat. Yeah, it's a 4-yard game, but at 4 yards is better than no yards.
Yeah.
Or he's got Tyreek double covered, but he reckons he can fit that ball in for a 40-yard. But it doesn't go anywhere. And you could, it's sunk costs. You could have got it to that running back for a 4-yard gain, and at least chances of moving the chains are better. Going for that shot and not making it is worse.
But I don't think they've made that adjustment. I think that if you've got someone if people are double covering Tyreek Hill, why not just go, okay, fuck, they're doing this every week. Let's just how about you just go 5 yards and then they're going to think you're going deep and just pull up.
Yep.
And then just at least
you
get
got
him
Pringle and you got Kelsey and you got
this is what blows my mind. Because, so right now, the fun little meme is that everyone's found out that Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite is apparently cover 2.
Yeah.
He's got 2 high safeties. You force him play underneath. He has proven
he doesn't want to go those
he's
shots.
He's not patient enough, and that's the signs of a young quarterback who's been able to get away with what he's wanted.
Yeah.
And that takes time of getting out of that habit, because that habit is what made you a superstar in the first place.
Yeah.
I can understand that can literally take a season and an off season to change and accept. I don't want to say he's arrogant, but it's a healthy arrogance that's allowed him to get to this point.
Yeah.
But just logically, if you're versing too high, like back in the day, it used to be if you play man, Tyreek's going to burn you. If you play zone, Kelsey's going to burn you. I don't understand how Kelsey's just not eating in the middle of the field right now. It's not making sense.
Seam up the middle against cover 2, split the safeties. He should be open every time.
Bar maybe 2 linebackers and 2 safeties in the league. Kelsey should be able to win those one-on-one matchups all the time. I don't understand why his production isn't leading to a safer and more productive offense. I always came back to the logic, against too high, the other option you always wanted to have is someone reliable be able to pound the rock for 3 to 4 yards just to get them out of that. They haven't been able to produce that. So that's also a contributor. But I think it does come back to just being able to break the habit of being able to yeet a whole shot from Patrick Mahomes because you have the arm strength. I guess defenses, I don't know, maybe I believe in a lot in sports psychology, and I just think this is a case of a hangover of greatness.
I think it's I agree. I think it's lack of confidence as well. I think that obviously the Super Bowl didn't go anywhere near to as planned as what any of them players would have hoped. And then when you come off that and you have a close game against the Browns and you're like, holy shit, like we're like beatable. And that's going on your head as an athlete. Like I know it, you know what I mean? When you've been pumping teams for so long and then you almost get beat and then you get beat and then it's kind of like, oh shit, okay. So then I get it. I get exactly what the players are sort of probably going through. And that awakening of not being like, we're going to go out and just roll teams now is really hitting hard.
Well, it's sort of like, I'm not speaking from examples here, but it's like, when you punt, you're on a punt and roll, right?
Yeah.
You're getting all of it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, those multis aren't coming through anymore. You can't settle for betting $1.80, goddamn, just betting, a safe bet and $1.80, betting the spread or something like that.
You're chasing those losses.
You're chasing them losses. And that's sort of the situation here. All of a sudden, the small wins aren't big enough for you there. So this comes back to that hero ball situation. You need, just psychologically, you want to be playing to the highs and whatnot. And you kind of forget what it takes to just get that sustainment over several years. And I think this is why teams like the Eagles, who everyone thought was going to go on a big run after their Super Bowl year, they capitulated. We're seeing signs of it from the Chiefs now. Even the Niners, I would argue, but I blame a lot more injuries for them. All those teams, the Seahawks to a small extent, with their situation. That's what makes it so impressive what New England did for so goddamn long.
Well, I think you got to acknowledge that what New England did is rare.
Yeah.
And it's probably not going to happen again for another 50 years.
It should not be the realistic expectation for any franchise.
No, if that's your expectation that we'll build this 10-year dynasty that comes away with 6 rings or whatever, that's not the case and it's never going to be the case. If you can get to 2 Super Bowls, let alone win one of them, that in and of itself in like a 5-year span is amazing.
That's the modern day dynasty.
Yes.
Whether we want to admit it or not, people need to stop making New England the standard. And I hate saying that so much, because I love seeing New England have to deal with, New England fans deal with what the rest of us have had to over the last couple of years. All they did just come off a very big win over the Jets.
Over the Jets.
But they are the exception, not to the rule. What you guys achieved is what everyone else should be, because in the salary cap draft era that we have right now, even with the generous salary cap, as everyone's waiting for it to expand, it's just not realistic because people have bigger aspirations, and the drive, whether people want to admit it or not, only lasts for a couple of seasons.
100%. And that's enough about the Chiefs. Thanks, boys.
I want to just quickly touch on the Titans, seeing as that was the game. Try and highlight the fact that Derrick Henry had 29 carries for 86 yards, a 3-yard rush average. Chiefs did pretty well against Henry. And yet the Titans...
Historically, we do.
The Titans got Tannehill to play a different game. The Titans played a different game. They acknowledged that, played a different game. And you have Ryan Tannehill, 21 from 27 attempts, 10-yard average. A.J. Brown, 8 receptions for 133 yards.
Yeah, he balled out.
I really like the fact that, people talk about the Titans as this it just runs through Derrick Henry. I think they've shown that it doesn't.
yeah,
it doesn't run through Derrick Henry. They're a
I thought at the start
well-built
of the year
team.
that
It does. I think they just proved that they are more balanced than people are prepared to give them credit for.
Yes.
But see, obviously, that's a lot of carries that Henry got there.
It's a hell
and then,
of a lot of
So when
carries.
you're thinking, like, he's going to get a lot of carries, and then obviously they played a lot of play action.
Yep.
Brown got a lot of big plays off the back of that.
Tannehill might be the best play action quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I think that came into part of the reason why he was acquired
Yep.
and part of success. But I think you still said, despite the lower average than usual and him not clocking 100, they still committed to the run. What was it, still 20 carries, was it?
Yep.
Total carries?
28.
20?
29.
Yeah, 29 carries. So that shows me, though, that's a team that knows its identity.
Yep.
Yeah.
It means that they stuck to what they were good at and persisted with it and just found they mixed up their counterpunch.
And credit to the coaches, man. Like, when
Yeah.
you go and sign, like Jones in the
Julio
offseason,
Jones. Yeah.
and then you barely... I know he gets used. He comes up
gets
clutch
used,
in
but
big...
but you
when
don't
he needs
need
to.
him. You don't need
exactly,
him to
and
put up
that's
150
awesome. He didn't
yards.
come in and it's like, oh, he's our number one wide receiver. It's like, nah, like, we've already got our guy at number one wide receiver, and we're just going to keep doing what we do.
You're there to
right?
be another arrow in the quiver.
Yep.
So
is
credit to them, man.
Credit
And
to the coaches and credit to Julio for not kicking up a stink.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think them going into... I'm thinking they're making the playoffs. Obviously, that's not a big.
yeah.
That's not
Especially
a big,
in that division.
That's not a big call. But I think what they've done is over the last couple of years, in the off season they've self scouted really well and gone, where is our weakness and what can we do to improve on that weakness so that next time, because they've had some heartbreaking playoff losses and that kind of stuff where they've gone, what can we do to improve? So I feel like now they're built in a way that they don't really have a key weakness and they can play kind of any sort of football depending on who they're going to come up against in the playoffs. Because you can imagine a game where Derrick Henry gets shut down, they're trying to figure out double cover AJ or always bracket him with the safety over the top. And then they go Julio. Okay, so let's bracket Julio. They got AJ. We're not going to stack the box. Let Derrick Henry beat us. Well, okay, Derrick Henry's going to beat you then. Yeah. I think I'd really like the Titans to go on a proper playoff run this year.
Yeah, that was a good game by the Titans coaching staff. Like, even to have the balls to let Derrick Henry throw a freaking touchdown pass.
Well, here's the funny thing. Let's go back to what we talked about last week regarding MVP and stuff like that.
Yep.
Firstly, I want to reckon saying there's no chance he's never going to be on pace to beat LT's record.
Yeah.
Technically, he is on pace. And it's just kind of like weird that is the week after I say that he goes and pulls up running back pass.
Yeah, exactly.
for a touchdown.
Which gets him way closer to what LT actually did.
I still stand by it's not going to happen. I'm going to stand and back to my boy. But it is amazing. And it's also it's an extra game season. Extra game that he's going to do it in.
Yeah.
I still stand by he's going to end up getting rested towards the back end of the season. The record is going to be safe. But it is hella impressive that's the case. And again, furthermore, the yards he is leading, like he's over 200 yards or whatever over the rest of the competition. It is an outstanding season, especially after running for 2K yards. Like historically, the legs burn out and a running back afterwards. It very well still could. But right now, it doesn't look like the case. That is an impressive athlete in Derrick Henry.
Does he not? I'm pretty sure he has more yards after contact than any other running back has yards.
I think so, yeah.
Because it's like Derrick Henry and then there's Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry yards after contact.
At least it was prior to this week. I don't know if that's changed.
It might have skewed a little.
I'm just going to remind you of how my predictions at the start of the season were going. I had Patrick Mahomes as MVP. It's not looking like that. I also had the Seahawks to make the Super Bowl.
And then on top of that, you said, you know what my sneaky one will be?
The Lions.
The 0-7 Lions. As half a chance.
I'm never making another prediction ever again. I think I've just ruined the Chiefs' season and also Patrick Mahomes' potential his entire career.
Between you and Madden sticking him on the title, sticking him on the cover twice.
Next year, just please predict the Giants to go 0-16, 0-17, and we'll win the Super Bowl.
The opposite. You move on.
Yeah,
Okay, I've got something to move us on
Chiefs.
to.
Have you got quick favorite plays? Real quick.
Geez, I had one. I've forgotten it. What was it? Someone else picked one.
My favorite play wasn't even a play. It was Kelsey doing the big arms out
and the dude
ref,
behind him?
and the dude behind him just copying him the whole way.
Man.
It's
and
not,
Kelsey was fired up.
He
on
was
the sideline,
fired up.
bro.
He was fired up.
He was like calling the dude out. He's like, come over here.
I always like when it's just them being like funny. It's not like shouting in someone's face or it's just making fun of someone. I
Yeah.
always love that.
I had Jamar Chase.
Oh, busting
Touchdown.
off.
Oh,
big touchdown
that
against the
was an
Ravens.
amazing
Yeah, and it
play.
His performance in
hopefully we'll get. I know. Surely we're gonna. Like, that's one of the predictions. I was telling you guys for ages that the Bengals are legit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
yeah.
I'll wear that. I'll wear that. You
Yep.
said that. I didn't
Yeah,
want to
okay,
believe
that's all. I I got one.
Oh,
1 out of 10.
broken clock.
I'll have two favorite plays. Danny Jones, one-handed catch.
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
yeah,
Oh my
fair
God!
enough, yeah.
And use his helmet. It's a microcosm of Giants history.
Yeah.
It's not only is it a one-handed catch like the OBJ
Beckham.
catch,
Yeah.
he uses his helmet like David Tyree.
Yeah.
And then it also had like the Mario Manningham like fingertip. I don't know. I just love that
Yeah.
play.
Well, I forgot mine. Actually, I had one, but I realized it actually wasn't from this week. It was from a couple of weeks before. So it was an accidental Jared Goff fumble / interception off the snap, which I found out was actually from a couple of weeks ago. So we'll double up on your plays of the week. I'm surprised. I thought this might have been something to do with the plays you would have picked this week. But boys, Thomas Edward Brady tossed his 600th touchdown pass.
Ooh, yeah,
Only player in history
yep.
to do it.
Yeah, I was again. I literally stayed in bed watching that just to see it happen.
Just to see it happen. Now,
Yeah.
Mike Evans, the receiver recorder,
Yes.
clearly did not know of this situation. Tossed
yeah.
it into the crowd.
Yeah.
Some lucky some bitch got his hands on that. Now, I'm just going to picture the situation, guys. You guys are in Raymond J Stadium in your little jerseys, somehow scored, third row tickets, and
Yep.
that ball somehow lands in your hands.
I'm out of there, baby.
Yeah.
I'm taking that ball and I'm gone.
What's
I'm
happening?
gone. Yeah.
Now, that's what I thought the logic that I probably would have taken as well. And I don't know how many stairs. If you look at me, I'm not usually one to be climbing stairs, but boy, I'm making an exception that day. I'm getting out of there. Now, we will get to what this lucky gentleman eventually decided to for the swap-saroo. I want to ask you guys, point blank right now, stadium official comes to you and said, hey, we want that ball. What's it going to cost us? What's your figure? What's your figure in your head?
$1 billion or a stake in the franchise.
Starting low. I love it. Slightly more realistic.
The hand of Giselle in marriage.
I wouldn't take anything less than $100,000.
Thank you. That's my exact starting
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
100,000. But even then, I'm starting at $500,000 and seeing where we go.
Yeah.
Because that is still a drop in the fucking bucket.
Yep.
Get into what, because you're a coward.
Seriously. Okay, let's break down the deals as if this was a
This
free
guy-
agency pickup.
Must have been under so much pressure from like the surrounding crowd, though.
Because
I can't even imagine like somebody coming up to him in like public or in front of thousands of people and like everyone knowing, and you're being like,
Have you guys seen the movie The Program before?
No.
90s football movie. You guys really should. It's based in FSU, or at least a university looking like Florida State. It's based on university football.
Yeah.
It's got who's that guy? Who's the black actor in House? Omar Epps, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's a new fancy running back. Got a fumbling problem, and they have a situation where it's the age-old story where he goes, "All right, to fix this, you're going to carry this football all around campus. If anyone from the team brings it to me, you're in trouble." So it's got that classic story of like in class, all of a sudden people are trying to punch it out, and he's got to carry it. That would be the exact same scenario.
Yeah,
with the
you just
stadium,
need
surely.
to hold.
Your fundamentals are coming in that one there.
Loaf of bread carry the entire
Yeah.
time. Just
Opposite of loaf of
so
bread.
yeah. Do you have that?
So I do have it there. So eventually,
So angry.
this guy, I don't have his name, and probably for his own sake, we'll keep it out there because we think you're a fool. 2 signed jerseys and a signed helmet from Tom Brady himself. Fair enough. That's got to be worth $10K a pop, you reckon?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
a bit more.
I don't know, maybe a bit less. It depends how much he signs. You can get some of that stuff kind of cheap. But yeah, let's say
Generously
$5K at a minimum.
Minimum.
I think they gave him another match ball too,
they gave him,
which is
another
now
match.
worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
'cause it's
signed
not
Mike
the match
Evans
ball.
jersey, because fair enough, that would mean saying he's a receiver
Yeah.
who caught the 600th ball,
Yep.
plus his game cleats from it. That's going to pick up another.
Yeah.
Generously speaking, $20,000.
Yeah.
And $1,000 to the Bucks team store. Let's just scrub that.
Yeah, that doesn't count for anything.
In today's day and age, what's that? 2 jerseys and a goddamn freaking mug.
Yeah.
And 2 season tickets for the 21 and 22 season, which again, not that there. And then
Plus, he already bought game tickets. As far as we know, he's a season ticket holder
by all
anyway.
means, to get that close. And then the best part of it, 1 Bitcoin, which could be worth
Okay.
a lot of me at one point. Which is
One
probably
Bitcoin's not
that's not
bad.
We're starting to talk a little more.
Okay. Yeah, you could give me
hold on.
me
This
some
is well
Bitcoin
over,
offers.
This is well over $100,000. I didn't know all that was in the deal.
How much is a Bitcoin going for nowadays?
No, it's
It's
70.
fluctuating between.
It hit
Australian.
70, I think.
Yeah, it's hit like 60 to 70K American. So we're talking. Sometimes you can get well over 100,000.
So
Australian.
realistically, let's add that. So let's say it's around 80.
No, like this isn't.
I didn't know about the
That
Bitcoin.
going that bad.
So
Yeah.
realistically, it's about $150,000 total value.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought it was just the jersey and the match ball. Didn't
Yeah.
know all this other shit.
He renegotiated.
Okay, all right.
Damn.
I like the Bitcoin. That's the only one that's worth it.
Yeah.
Scrap the other shit, actually. Just give me the
Well,
Bitcoin.
here's the thing. Because he's kicked up such a big hullabaloo about it, he's probably added value to some of that other stuff. Because
Yeah.
now they're the stuff that was acquired in the famous
yeah,
trade.
yep.
So
Yep.
in the world with NFTs and stories being behind everything,
You can
there's a
imagine
bit of
if
value
he
behind
if he
it.
hangs on to it in 50 years' time, and then there's an auction somewhere, and somebody goes, all of this stuff was done in that.
But
that
also
trade.
hard to get that ball. I'm sure you could get it certified, but then you'd probably have to go through the Bucks to do it.
Yeah,
And then when they get their hands on it and they're swapping it and shit, and then you just never know. And
yeah.
I still
to be
stand
fair,
by.
fair
You
enough.
could. I still stand by. You could have got
If he's
$250,000.
so, I reckon if
You
he's-
probably could have got 2 Bitcoin.
yeah.
You totally 100% could.
'Cause
Like
does
that's
he-
a drop in the friggin' bucket for Brady.
Yeah.
If Tom Brady goes another season, does he get to 700?
That's a pretty no way.
No,
That's 100
another
touchdown
season. He
passes
can
in
get
one-
100 touchdowns
we
in
still
1
got-
year.
He's throwing like 4 a game. We still got like 20.
I'm gonna say no, and then we're gonna put this on friggin' on socials next year when he's throwing.
He throws his 700 touchdown in the Super Bowl win the next season.
The next
Listen,
no.
I'll do it for the likes.
He can, but I trust that he can get to 700.
this potentially
I don't
his
think he's
last
getting
big
there next
milestone.
year.
But
yeah,
where are we
yeah,
at?
I guess
now
you're
that
right.
the
It could be
Bitcoin
his
has
last.
come to it,
Yeah.
where are you guys sitting with it? Was he overs or unders?
Well, at that point, with the amount of because the other thing is, you're right. There's a shit ton of pressure.
I didn't know all that other stuff was there. That's up. Like I wouldn't have taken less than $100,000, and what he's got, I feel like is worth more than $100,000. So, yeah, I think it's.
I think if there was a shit ton of negotiating too, and you don't feel like you have too much leverage because you're just some guy, right? And that's Tom Brady and the Bucks. And I think at that point, I probably would have settled anyway, just been like, yeah, fine.
I think one of the benefits it is because in the day and age of social media, there was so much footage of him getting it.
Yes.
So that's where you've probably got
Yeah.
a little bit of leverage in your hands as far
Yeah.
as selling. You would have easily been able to sell that minimum 80K, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone would have taken off your hands purely because you've got all the footage of you being the guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so ultimately, final call, overs or unders. What did he get?
Whoa. Final call. I'm gonna say overs now. I've changed my
With
mind.
Bitcoin?
Only because the ball is like once he's got it, and yes, we've got the footage and that, but even he puts it in the basement, gets
Yeah.
another you never know.
Yeah.
Fair
Exactly.
And until it gets
Yeah,
until
I am
until
agreed
there's
on
like
the overs.
and it would have been very hard the whole process for him to get it certified, and then
I
it
guess
would have
he's
had to go
cutting
through
off
the
a lot of
Bucks,
bullshit.
Yeah.
and then you never know with the NFL, it's some dodgy shit going on.
Yeah,
That guy
exactly.
Winds up dead somewhere. I don't know.
He just saved himself, the next 30 years of his life. So, but do we agree the Bitcoin is the game?
Yeah, that changes it for sure.
It changes it completely.
Yeah.
Take out the Bitcoin, and it's the most terrible deal ever.
Yeah.
I was
for sure.
so hyped up about going ripping in this guy. I didn't exactly want to change my
I
narrative.
didn't.
Yeah.
I thought
Until I
it was
heard
just
the
a jersey.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
no, fair
Bitcoin
enough.
was still sitting around 50K.
Okay. And it could if he plays his cards right, and just waits a little bit, he could easily get over 100K for that Bitcoin.
And I still think you can, with this story now behind it, I mean, you could, if you're willing to sit, like Mike Evans' jersey and cleats and stuff like that tied into that.
Yep.
I mean, I just hope I don't see him on an episode of American Porn Stars or whatever. I'm going to be so sad if in 20 years I'm just, sitting there watching that and I see him go up. He's like, with this fancy story. And that bald guy be like, best I can do is $5.
All right, so what we said we were going to talk about this week, that we have to talk about this week, is the cards.
Yep.
We haven't said pretty much anything
given
about the
them-
Cardinals. We've given
With
zero.
post-credit
I think I spent a couple minutes talking about how Kyler Murray runs like a toddler.
Yeah.
They are the only undefeated team in the league. They are what I think is amazing is Kyler's rushing yards have just plummeted. He doesn't need to run. He doesn't need to run himself anymore. I mean, he scrambles in the same way that, Rodgers has always scrambled or something just to buy himself a bit of time.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to rush. And that was a huge part of their game the last couple of years, and they don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still there. If they need to pull it out, if if it's a tough game, he can still do it. But I think they're so well built.
Man, he's got some weapons.
He's got some weapons.
Dude,
to have
a solid defense to back
the way
up.
Rondell Moore is playing as a rookie, and he's probably their fourth best, or he's like fourth on the depth chart or something.
Second round pick in Rondell Moore. They've got a first round pick in Christian Kirk. I think it was late first or was it early second?
They got
Around
DeAndre.
that. And then I love there was a comment. I think it was it D-Hop who said, "I would love to see another first round pick produce what me and
Kirk or AJ?
no me and maybe he's talking about Julio."
Oh,
yeah.
Because they both got traded for less than a
Yeah.
first round pick.
Yeah.
So he's like, show me a first. I mean, you got CeeDee Lamb, I suppose. But he's like, show me a first round pick who's doing what we can do. And he's right. Like,
Yeah.
Jamar.
comes with a Jamar Chase. There's another wonderful example. Which, that's a great topic for after this, actually, whether Jamar was worth it. But, like the weapons are all coming. It's one of those things that got sneakily good
Yeah.
in the face of everyone.
I feel like they built I see them being built similarly to how we were talking about the Titans got built, right? They kept self-scouting each offseason, and then they pulled in, and they managed to just get amazing deals to get D-Hop. And, I mean, it's a bit of a Belichick thing too that he would always do, right? Someone like AJ Green who, needs to be shipped off, is everyone's saying on a bit of a decline, but still an amazing receiver when he doesn't have to be number one. Yep.
Presence of that what's the word?
He might be 80%, 70% of what he used to be, but he still commands so
he's
much
playing
attention.
in wide receiver number 3.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
completely understandable. For me, it's almost more like the Bucks if you just take away the Brady attention in there. Where they just managed to. They were a decent team initially with pieces and just didn't have They needed Kyler to get better to make it work.
Yeah.
That's happened, which has then allowed them to get all these other pieces. Like I'm sure that was a huge part as to why JJ Watt decided to come over there. And now, but JJ Watt and that pass rush that's coming along, with the pass rush they already had, that's probably the understated thing. The fact that their defense has continued to get so much better in key positions has been huge there. And even with Peterson moving on and aging out, they've still got Buda Baker flying back.
Yeah,
there,
Buda
Chandler
Baker's
Jones.
having an amazing.
Fitzgerald.
Fitz is gone.
Can't believe you held him back,
No,
Fitzgerald, all that time.
Yeah.
There is that funny story. It's they're like plot twist. Fitzgerald was actually a toxic teammate.
He looks like the nicest human being.
They
in the
go
whole
off
world,
and
dude.
win the year after Fitz. My God, he better be firstly, he
that'd
better
be-
still goddamn get a ring.
Just sign him towards
some
it, or sign him right now for just $2 or whatever, just so he counts as a ring or whatever.
Meanwhile,
Put him
some-
straight on IR.
Or no, chuck him on the practice squad.
Oh, the practice squad, yeah.
Some poor sucker who's 53
fought
in the
for
roster,
years.
busting his ass on special teams, is about to get
He'd
freaking
understand.
kicked to the curb.
He'd understand.
Isaiah Simmons, who I loved coming out of the draft, and it took them a while to figure out how the hell do we use him? Is he a safety? Is he a linebacker? Do we blitz him all the time? Can he cover? And now they seem to have actually figured out how to use him, which is amazing. I think it's just all
What's he
these
been playing most at?
linebacker, but I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he's this new sort of generation. Jabril Peppers for us
He's that
plays a
Moneybacker-
similar
Moneybacker star.
It's kind of they're both an in the box safety. They can cover. They
Yeah.
can play
They'll
linebacker.
they'll move out to Sam and nickel packages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's I don't know. It's amazing what they're doing, and other than the Bucks, I don't see another team.
It's the fact they're doing it
challenging
in
them.
their division as well. And
Yep.
I know Russell got injured and whatnot, but they still beat the Seahawks earlier in the season. The Rams are still going to be relevant across them. But to be 7-0 in that division, which you and I, Sam, in episode 1 said that's just a tough division. Everyone's going to cannibalize out of that. I think I specifically said that as far as tipping Tampa Bay to go to be the best in the NFC, just because that division would cannibalize each other. Still could happen. Still more than half the season to go.
Yeah.
But to be 7-0 in that division right now is outstanding. My question is, where does Kyler sit MVP for you guys?
Who?
Kyler
Murray.
Murray, where does he sit as far as
Yeah, it's a weird one, right? Because he's playing
Can't say he
amazing.
hasn't- can't say he hasn't contributed.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't. I feel like he's not getting enough credit, really. Right? He's playing amazingly, and everyone's focused on Jackson and obviously Mahomes having a rough year, and Brady, and Kyler's just kind of going about his business.
I feel like that Browns game was like, because they only put up 17 points, was enough for everyone to go, all right, that's enough. We can we don't have to worry about MVP now.
Yeah.
Let's go back to our darling playmakers that we usually know about, which is weird because like Kyler Murray, it's not like he's a boring player. He's an exciting young player.
His completion percentage this year is 73.5%. 73.5% completion
above
rate.
average.
That's above average. That's good. I mean, you're never going to get 80% or something. Look, he's playing really well. He's got 17 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. He's in the mix, right?
Because who's your front runners right now? You got him. You got Lamar even after the Bengals game.
Yep, definitely Lamar.
Mahomes, I think, has finally dropped out for the time being.
Yep.
Yeah.
Herbert's still in there,
Yep.
and then Aaron Rodgers now played himself back into there, and Matt Stafford
Brady.
probably, and
Brady,
Brady.
of
So
course,
there's
Brady.
the front runners there, and
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's really like we're coming around the turn. Everyone's nose to nose right
Just
now.
keep Henry in there just for a few more weeks.
just in there for a little while longer. Oh, I did laugh as someone I think in Reddit immediately after like someone put up that stats about how terrible your defense was. Like,
Yeah.
some motherfucker in the sports media is still going to keep them as number 10 in their power rankings.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
But
I think we actually dropped to like 11 last week.
rightly so.
Rightly so.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, about Joey B really reasserting himself with all the Herbert talk. He goes, don't you guys forget that I was number 1 pick in that draft? And geez, I was one of the first people to criticize him going Jamar Chase. I said I could understand it because in light of all the Aaron Rodgers situation about
I love that. I love that what you said in one of the podcasts where I think you mentioned that it was actually Burrow that said that he wanted Chase, and it
Yeah, give him
convinced.
the ticket of
I love that. I love that, and I love the fact that he's he had that confidence to go to them and say that and be like, you want me to win games? Give me this guy.
yeah, and even though everyone wanted protection, it would have been a very justified pick to pick Penei Sewell or
Yep.
I should know this. He is playing for the Chargers. What's his name?
Rashawn Slater.
Rashawn Slater. Both would have been justified decisions, but particularly Penei Sewell in that position. But he goes, I want someone I'm familiar with. I want someone who I think is a playmaker. And there is argument that if you got someone who your quarterback can get the ball out too quickly, that saves protection as well. And now it's certainly paying off there. But I think what's
That's
exciting...
got to be. Is that one of the best decisions to sit out the last year of college from Jamar Chase? After Burrow getting drafted and then being like, okay, now I'm going to sit out because of obviously COVID and all this sort of stuff. That's kind of genius now.
In hindsight, it's an amazing decision. It could have also gone the opposite way. It didn't happen to.
Are we talking about like hindsight in draft position or productivity in the NFL?
Draft position. That's what I'm saying. Draft position. I reckon it didn't, but it had the ability to drop him down boards. The fact that he didn't play last year. Yeah. In terms of productivity, I don't.
Well, I think it proved that it took him a while to get going again. That's why he had that such horrid preseason.
Yeah.
And he's unable to catch NFL balls. thing.
Yeah.
I think that was just a matter of him just being rusty for not properly competing in a year. Penei Sewell, it didn't affect him in drafts. Well, you could argue. Some would say he was the top 2 pick.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell didn't effectively. He was still in the top 10, top 5 even.
We got Azeez Ojulari, and he sat out last year as our pass rusher, and he had a 3-sack game last week, but started out very slow.
Rashawn Slater sat out for a whole year
Yep.
and whatnot, so I don't think it's proven to be too bad. Maybe that's a
It's
good
just
thing
took him to. I think you're right. It's just taken him a little bit to kind of get in there, but that can happen in any off season, right?
Yeah.
But what's a good sign here for Bengals fans if you borrow, you're going to avoid the situation that what Aaron Rodgers is going through regarding Aaron Rodgers. I'm on camp Aaron Rodgers about this. He's not saying he wants control. He just wants a voice in the room.
Yeah.
He wants his opinion to be considered, which he feels he's getting none of at Green Bay, and I think that's ridiculous. Especially when you look at people like Peyton Manning, I'm assuming Tom to an extent, but Peyton Manning could go in and say, this is who I want, and largely would get that.
Yep.
The biggest knock on Andrew Luck, I'm hearing post-retirement, is that he just didn't. He was too nice. He didn't have the gall to demand, "Hey, I'm getting my ass kicked, or I'm getting beaten up. Put someone on the goddamn line for me."
Yeah.
And they said that had he had that gall, he probably still would have been playing and still dominating in the league right about now. So I think that's positive for Joey Burrow to be able to be mature enough to say, "You've invested in me, as quarterback, I have significant standing in this entire organization as an employee. Here's what I need to succeed, or else believe.
Yeah.
Please consider it when making it happen.
Yeah.
I think right now it looks like it's paying off dividends.
Man, they were so fun to watch that year of college with Burrow and Chase and all those guys.
Yep.
Clyde Edwards.
Yep.
They were fun, man. That was a cool year.
I think on the point of Jamar as well is just this crop of wide receiver. You're never sure, right? Each year, sometimes you have, it's really top heavy. But the last few years, we've just seen so many good wide receivers come out. I think this crop of wide receivers that came out in this draft could be the best yet. You've got Jalen Waddle, who on a shitty Miami team is probably the most consistent.
Yep.
The consistent receiver there.
Bugs?
That
was
was the year before. You got Jamar.
Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah. You got Jamar Chase, who obviously we just talked about.
Smith. I'm thinking
he's doing
Smith.
Devontae Smith is playing really well. He doesn't really have the weapons, but I think
He also doesn't have the coach. Right?
He doesn't have anything around him. Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney could. He's now at least shown the spark.
Yep.
When was
That huge
Lamb?
game.
The year before as well.
He was in the Rugs class.
That's
But
right.
that's what I mean.
He was good in his rookie
The
year.
Lamb Ruggs class, I think, will be surpassed by this class.
Okay.
I reckon they've got a higher ceiling.
Yeah.
They haven't shown quite yet.
I think there's more number ones out of this class.
Yes.
Maybe that you could, if you want to rank talent and what they produce, like Ruggs, I don't think will ever be a number one, but he will be a significant number two.
Yep.
Yeah.
And but I think there's
Is
more
Justin
number ones.
Jefferson in that draft?
He was in that. Actually, that's true. He's a beast.
Yeah, that's what
He's a beast.
I'm kind of forgetting.
It'll be
Justin
close.
Jefferson,
It'll be
but
close.
It'll be close.
Good
But
topic.
those
Touch
two,
on getting like a big list together.
I think those two drafts, we're just what we're seeing is that as the league gets even more and more pass friendly, right? Friendly for pass catchers, it means that the dudes coming out of college are just pro ready because the game isn't that much different for them from college to the pros.
Same thing with quarterbacks. That's why
Same thing
quarterbacks
with
have
quarterbacks.
expectations, because now there's quarterback camps getting them ready for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the pros, the NFL has come closer to college
Rather than the other way
than
around,
having the
exactly.
College players having to change the NFL system. How are we going for time? Because that'll bring.
Yeah, we're like 40, nearly 50 minutes in already.
Oh, perfect. We're going to
What
wrap
have we still
up.
got to touch on? We got the big news,
Which
with
is?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, okay.
That's not official yet, though, right?
No, that's not official. I don't think we need to spend
should we not touch on it until it's
time
official?
on it.
Yeah, let's hold off.
Okay, let's hold off on
basically-
that.
But before it happens, Curtis, drop the bomb.
It's a terrible fucking idea. Don't do it, Miami. Don't do it, anyone, until those legal issues are resolved. Also, from what we know, allegedly, he's a terrible human being.
And Tua played okay.
Yes.
He's got 4 touchdowns.
Tua is playing. That team is not a quarterback away from being able to win a Super Bowl. That team with Deshaun Watson is that same Texans team that Deshaun Watson was playing with and was terrible.
And I'm just saying out there, I mean, just with all things considered with Watson, just leave it out for now. Wait till next offseason. Give yourself a chance in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. Next season, you've got a chance there. He might just want to actually pick lifestyle over winning chances and whatnot. Because there's a few more. I mean, Garoppolo might also be available if you want another bridge next season. Because they're probably panicking a little bit because the quarterback class coming out isn't looking crash
terrible.
hot.
It's
but
terrible.
there are some free agents hitting the market, particularly Aaron Rodgers.
Miami shouldn't be in the mix, is all I'm saying. Tua is fine. Tua is not the problem there. And it's his second year.
We did just say that quarterbacks are expected to excel early. I'm just going to put that out there.
When do you have to sign him?
This is the trade deadline's ending this week.
Okay, so they need to sign Tua or...
They don't have to sign. They need to make the trade offer.
Okay,
need to
but when
trade.
do they need to... Like, when's Tua's rookie up?
He's got another
His
couple of
rookie
years.
deal.
He'll have 4 years. So 2 more years from here and a 5th year option.
A 50. You got 3 years on a cheap
Write it out.
contract. Write it out. Don't pay Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Don't the bank.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's just too much risk involved there. And on top of that, I mean, come on, we literally just had a 2-week blowout about the morals of having someone like, freaking, what's his name? I've already moved him on from my name. Coach,
Conte's perfect. Oh, John Gruden.
John Gruden. And then you're going to bring in someone with 26 plus alleged cases on him. I mean,
Allegations
come
of sexual
on,
assault.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. And also the Panthers have now popped up in the trade rumors as having a deal on the table
Aren't they
after
happy to
Darnold. I mean,
proved to be
what he
not
was
that
always
guy.
at the Jets.
which makes me sad.
It makes me sad. Darnold
Yeah,
going
he had
to
a
the
crack,
Panthers and Wentz going to the Colts were both things I was really excited
Yeah.
about this year.
And I mean, he just proves USC can't produce pro-rated quarterbacks.
Pretty much.
But,
super athletic. I never knew
More
Darnold
athletic
could
than we
run.
expected.
Yeah, I
He
didn't
was
know he
looking
could
so
run.
good in those opening weeks.
He doesn't look athletic at all. He's just kind of like I don't know. I always just picture him in my mind as this like pudgy redheaded dude,
Yeah.
Darnold. But he's actually really athletic.
I do wonder how long they're going to hold on to Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Panthers.
Oh, and can we also quickly touch on the fact that the Giants beat the Panthers?
Oh, you should
And we had a
have
win.
your moment, mate.
And we had a win.
That blew out my 10-leg multi. Sons of bitches.
25-3, wasn't it?
You
26
guys made
to
them
3.
look low.
Yeah, smashed them. Defense finally stepped up. Most boring first half I've ever seen in my life. It was 5-3 going into the ending the half, and then coming out of the half. Offense just stepped up, and it's one of the. I thought it was a pretty stark contrast too, where you had Darnold, the other New York guy, on one side of the field, where they've got a good team around him. Like DJ Moore's a really good weapon.
Yeah.
That offensive line is good. And they built. He's missing CMC, but they have some pieces there. And then on the other side of the field, you have Danny Jones playing without 7 of the 11 starters, and just willing that offense to score.
Shepard he pulled out of me last second before kickoff without me replacing him in my fantasy.
Underrated storyline for the
God damn
Panthers,
it.
though. Everyone talk about how Donald went to shit. That defense looked all pro
What
for the first 3
happened?
weeks. How did that go so bad?
I think they're missing. They're missing a few people,
They still got
right?
Kickers, they still got Jeremy Chin, they got freaking Brian Burns. Like, there's no reason that should have been collapsed as quickly as it did. I was so ready to get on that defensive train. I don't know what's happened there. I'll watch this space to see if they can bring that back to where they were. But with a chance to possibly finish a podcast under an hour first, I just got to say, are we ignoring the fact that you two, is it Chiefs Giants?
Yeah, Chiefs Giants. Chiefs Giants, Monday Night Football.
Both of your teams-
Tuesday for us,
Both
obviously.
teams looking absolutely trash.
Yep.
I feel as though,
Mind you, Giants coming off some momentum.
That's what I'm
Us
saying.
coming off the
That's
worst.
what I'm saying. We're meeting in the middle. I'm saying this is a perfect chance for a little proposition bet here on the pre-snap.
Drop that.
What do we got, lads? Come on. No finances. I think, maybe a jersey on the next podcast. I mean, someone's going to wear the opposition paraphernalia or something.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm just
Let's
saying.
do that.
We got-
Whoever
Okay, yeah, I got my
wins.
jersey. I got my jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is it a win?
Whoever-
Like, are we feeling this is a 50? Is this?
It'll be
is
extremely uncomfortable, but
Is this a situation? Do we have to give a spread here, or are we
I feel
thinking
like-
this is?
I feel
No,
like
I
even
think it's
money?
just a win.
no, I think you got to give us. I mean, I know it's like we're.
It's the Giants.
But you want a handicap?
What's the one?
I'll take a handicap.
What's the handicap on Ladbrokes right now?
Okay.
What have they got? Hold on.
We'll go with Ladbrokes. Ladbrokes, hint. Fucking
Because
sponsor
like
us.
I'm thinking like this year we've struggled
would've-
against good teams.
This could be a 1 point. This could be a 1.5.
We dismantled Washington pretty easily. We dismantled Philly pretty easily. They're both in your
Both in our division.
So
Both teams that we've struggled against.
let's
Let's figure out what Laddies has got going.
The only thing I'm not confident at all, and
That's what I'm saying. I'd be giving 3
They will
points to you
lose.
guys. A 3-point head start to the Giants personally,
they will lose.
because you guys, this is a big game. Holy crap! You guys are significantly. They've got a 10-point handicap.
yeah, bro.
Wow.
I knew they would because it's
So are we giving them the spread? Do we agree? There's going to be.
yeah, I think that'll make it fun.
Yeah,
That'll make
okay,
it fun.
I'll take the spread.
Because Chiefs could come out and put
Yep.
40 points
okay.
on.
Okay, so if we cover the spread,
Yeah.
Should we? So 10 point. No,
10 points.
It'll be the Chiefs covering this.
Yeah, okay, Chiefs
so you
cover,
guys
yeah.
get a 10-point head
Yep.
start.
Yeah, that'll make it
okay,
fun.
that'll make it fun.
And how
Yeah.
many episodes are we giving this?
No, just one episode. I'm not wearing. I'm not wearing a Chiefs jersey.
Accepted your
Yeah,
place.
I'm not wearing a Chiefs jersey.
So the complete
for one
opposite
episode.
colour.
Next episode.
Yeah, it
next
is a complete
episode,
opposite
you
colour.
will be wearing. One of you will be wearing the opposite teams.
Yeah, that's
Excellent.
fair.
I love just being a little nefarious.
The one thing I am doing at the moment, though, is just watching like a hawk this week of practices for the Giants because
Who can play?
the thing who can play, because that's probably the only thing that could maybe swing me a little bit.
Yeah.
We
Well,
have
we could have our safety Matthew and Chris Jones might be out.
out.
Yeah.
Come on, Sam. Give him an extra 3 points. He needs it. 13.
Oh god, we might be lucky to even score 10 points.
and our defense played in the last half of last game. They
Yeah.
played to the level they were playing at the end of last year, which was that top 3 ranked defense level. A top 3 ranked defense can shut the Chiefs down.
Yeah.
Can they play like that? Probably not. Not for a full game. But there is a chance. And then just Saquon could be back. We could have Shepherd and Golladay
interesting.
back and Tony. I mean, this week of practice, Joe Judge said in his press conference this week that Thursday is basically the day that they're heavily
Sunday night football?
monitoring.
No, this is Monday.
Monday. So
Monday-
they've
it's
got
Monday
an
night
extra.
football game.
They've got
Oh,
an
nice.
extra day to get right.
No, what I'm saying is the game on Monday or is it on Tuesday?
Tuesday for us.
Tuesday
our
for us.
Oh,
our
you got
Tuesday.
plenty of time.
Yeah. So if we can get some of those pieces, and I'm not even thinking Golladay. I'm thinking Tony.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned about Tony being out, just showing what he showed when he was. I mean, he nearly broke the rookie receiving record for a game. Right? He was 8 yards off.
Yeah.
I think that's unbelievably important. More than Saquon, more than Kenny Golladay. The only other one is Andrew Thomas, our left tackle, was put on IR, but I think he's
Not like the
eligible.
Chiefs be rushing any passes like
But yeah, let's do it.
He's not getting sacked.
Just to get
I
involved.
think we have one sack all season.
Just to get involved, if you guys happen to tie, I'll wear both of you. I'll wear both of both of your teams. All right. So, Jesus, have we done it? Have we managed to keep it under an hour for the first time?
Yeah, just under.
There
yeah.
we go.
Do we have anything else that we wanted to touch on as a final?
I've got some
Sign
weird
off?
rashes I've been concerned about.
Don't touch them.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
Yeah, that'll do us. That was a good one. All right. Thanks, boys.
See you next week.
Peace.